For X-Men 3, we had to fly the Golden Gate Bridge. And they wanted a long length. They wanted like what in real life would be 1,000-foot length of the bridge. We were scaled down to maybe, what were we at that one? 12th or 20th? We might have been at 12th scale on that. So we had to build these 50-foot segments, I think 3 50-foot segments of roadway, and then there's the section with the tower that holds the cable up in the air, and the main cable. We had that, it was just a piece of PVC pipe, and I think they just digitized in all the verticals because they had to break and wobble and do things that there's no way we were going to be able to get them to look right. And then we had to break them apart. There were some breakaway structures built into them because the big tower, it had to tip like this, like part of the base gets broken and it does a tip. And there was another cement portion that breaks. They had to do an explosion because, you know, when you break concrete, it shatters with a bit of an explosive force, so they got that in there. And then flying it around. And we had very little, they were always changing the time of day that it was supposed to be. So, you know, it finally settled into being a twilight shot, which is crazy because, you know, you get about an hour every day of twilight, the golden hour, and that's when we had to shoot. So everything, the whole day we'd be working on the model, but by the end of the day, everything had to be out on the parking lot, you know, ready for an hour of getting some shots in, you know, and then shoot's over, sun's down, let's go on. You know, they'd put up lights and try to stretch it as much as possible, but then eventually you just got to go. And so we shoot went a little bit slow. I think shot for about a month, but you know, and a lot of, and there were some shots that we were building on and then they of course got canceled. That always happens because, you know, the production never changes things or they never lie or they never change their mind. We had a quarter scale set. We wanted to have a part of the roadway that broke through and cars falling through, and we had some guys that were building some quarter scale cars, and in fact John Eaves, he's a pretty notable production designer now. He's a good art director designer in the business. He designed a lot of things for Star Trek. It's great looking at his renderings of things he makes up. He's a good car designer too. It was going to be huge. We were going to be putting this thing up about 20 feet in the air on some scaffolding. A large area, it's probably about a 20 foot by 20 foot area that was going to drop open. It was huge. And so at some point it got canceled. I don't know if it was a budgetary thing or a time thing, but or logistics, because that's a lot of meat that you're moving around, and it gets very dangerous at that point, and you have to build it to meet those kind of requirements. And, you know, at that point you start needing to engineer things, and so it might have just been a little more than they wanted to get involved with at that point. So of course that gets dropped out, and you know, to the relief of a lot of us.
So John Bruno was going to do X-Men 3 as the overall supervisor, and he had some miniature work he wanted to get done, and they were shooting X-Men 3 in Vancouver, and he asked me to do this work. And originally we were thinking of doing it up there, but I said, well, not a whole lot of sunshine when we're, you know, in Vancouver when we're going to be doing this. It's supposed to be out in, you know, a beautiful day like today, and sort of sunset. So we did a budget, and we set up a model shop in Valencia, which is north of LA, and found this area that someone else had shot another movie there, but it was formerly it was the where they designed the SR-71 and the U-2. It was the skunk works where they actually did the design work for a lot of the stuff in Valencia. This facility was built in the 50s when there was just nothing out there, but it was sold in the 90s to another company, and they were renting out space, so we just rented space there. But there was a parking lot that you could look out and had a pretty clean horizon for shooting this thing. So I hadn't run a model shop for a long time, and I wasn't nuts about doing it, not because of, you know, I just hadn't done it. I was just sort of done with models because I'd done it for many years, and I thought, well, I'll do this, but I get to oversee the photography, so that's the stuff that I was looking forward to. So Gene Rizzardi pretty much, and Nick Selden ran the shop on that, and we brought in the regular guys, you know, and Dave Beasley and Clark was on that, and yeah, it was sort of like the guys, you know. And somebody was saying one day, you know, because when I started, I was one of the young guys, and I'm not anymore, but somebody was saying, yeah, it's sort of an older shop. I said, really? What do you mean? I started looking around. I go, oh yeah, I guess it is, because all the guys who were around when I started. And I go, yeah, I guess they're, but they know what they're doing, and so we had a big age range, anyway. So it was, it was so the Golden Gate Bridge stuff, where the Golden Gate Bridge is moved by magneto, and so yeah, some of it was replaced digitally, which I figured it would be, but it looked really good. And Tony shot that stuff, and it looks great, and they were very happy with it. But that now is the photography part of the miniature stuff is what I enjoy. Sort of working with the guys to set it all up, and picking the angles, and that was the carrot for me for that thing. And then and I ended up shooting everything you see of San Francisco in X-Men 3, except for one shot I shot for Bruno, because he couldn't do it. I shot all the aerial stuff, all the backgrounds for the bridge coming. I shot all that stuff based on boards, and so that was a lot of fun. And that's what I enjoy doing now. I still like the model stuff. I think if I could just go back to making one thing on my desk, I probably would be happy.
Yeah, by the time this business dried up, I knew all about it. I knew how to do models really well.
But we still, deliver no matter what. We'll deliver the best possible quality because we love our work. Other people in the industry, I love their work too, and I think we love ours more though. You can always tell when you go into most of these facilities, even digital facilities, there usually is a model sitting out in the lobby. There's not even if they got videos playing and stuff, people always gravitate to the model.